This is WildTalk, brought to you by WWF and IUCN.
The grey wolf, Canis lupus, was once the most widely distributed mammal in the world, but centuries of persecution have meant that they're now extinct in much of Western Europe. Here in Switzerland, it became extinct about 100 years ago, and is classed as regionally extinct on the IUCN Red List of threatened species. But since 1995, the wolf has started to appear again in Switzerland, crossing over from the Italian and French Alps. There's been no evidence of breeding wolves so far, but now experts are starting to wonder if the wolves may recolonise the Swiss Alps and the Jura Mountains, as they move further afield in search of new territory and food. I'm now joined with Jean-Marc Landry at the Jura Park. So, how many wolves do you think there are in the wild in Switzerland?
So in the wild in Switzerland we have about 8-10 wolves, but these are lone wolves. We have no officially pack wolves, and we have more wolves in the French Alps, about 150, and as 50 wolves in the Italian parts. So that means we have in the Alps about 200 wolves.
And how did they get here?
They came from Italy, where they never disappeared. In Italy they were protected since the beginning of the 17th, and they spread out towards the Alps, and they arrived in France at the beginning of the 19th, and they have many spaces, many wide places, many food, and so they spread, and they are arriving in Switzerland, and they will arrive also in the Jura part.
So do you think they're going to stay here and breed and recolonise?
The wolf will stay in Switzerland, that's sure, and because the place is okay for them, and they will stay also in Jura, and they will breed.
Many farmers are worried about the wolves coming back to the Jura Mountains. I asked Jean-Marc Landry how the farmers can protect their sheep.
In Switzerland, we try to help the sheep owners to protect their flock, and so the government will give money to buy some dogs, which are livestock guardian dogs, big dogs. We have mainly two breeds, the Great Pyrenees from France and the Maremmano Abruzzese from Italy. And of course we have to bring together the sheep. That means they have to be parked in pens or guarded by shepherds on the Alps. And of course you have also to pay the salary of a shepherd, and we can only pay a shepherd for big flocks, not small flocks. And in Switzerland we have small flocks. That is a big problem, because we have some sheep owners with small flocks who are working aside in factories, and so we have to find solution to mitigate all these problems. So it's quite difficult, and of course when you have big dogs on the Alps, on Alpine meadows, they will also meet hikers, and they will frighten hikers, and so we have also to give education to hikers how to behave with these dogs, and to make selection to have non-aggressive dogs towards people.
I'm here with Jean-Christophe Villiers, who's the deputy head of the species program of the IUCN. So how can we convince farmers and the wider public that having the wolf back in Switzerland is a good thing?
Well, that's a big challenge. I mean, we can understand the problem the people face, because actually the farmers are the ones who suffer from the presence of the wolf, or even the lynx. I mean, it's just a broader question of what kind of society, of kind of nature we want. And for sure, many people would like to see wolves, bears, lynx, but these people do not bear the cost. So personally, I'd like to see the wolves next to my place. I have no sheep, so we need to find a way. We need to help the farmers and shepherds to develop these protections. Of course, they get some money back when a sheep is killed, for example. But it's not only the only thing we need to take care of. We need to have wild places. I mean, if you see around how many houses we build, how cities are growing, we need some places where nature is real. I mean, it's and it includes some species like wolf. Personally, I wouldn't like a world where you have only small species. So you have also probably economic interest in developing tourism. You can see the number of people I know going to Spain or going to Italy to see wolves, to see bears. So that's the kind of thing we need to develop.
There are a lot of myths surrounding the wolf, which has featured as the bad character in fairy tales for centuries. But the big bad wolf only exists in stories. If we want to conserve these magnificent creatures and make sure that they are here for generations to come, we need to find a way to protect them. For WildTalk, I'm Skandar Keynes.
WildTalk. You can find out more on the web at panda.org or at iucn.org.